So as you can see, I'm actually out here on my little exercise place, my home gymnasium. And that's where I usually have my coffee and wish everybody good morning. Coming around. This is typical of what happens in the Philippines. I put this piece of wood here the last time. Actually, it was that piece of wood there. And I do my leg raises on this. Like this. Holding on. And they took it and used it to start a fire. Welcome to the Philippines. Okay. Here is Lola. And there goes our rice. And a cup as well. And we'll give her some money and she'll go. Merry Christmas! How are you? Ask her again how old she is.
86.
80?
86.
86. I think more than 86, but don't tell her that. She was 83 when we found her 6 years ago. So there's Beth handling that, and there's our rice going out the door. Okay, so I've actually turned the lights on in here. We don't live with the lights on all the time, but just so that you can see better. We've had a little bit more work done on the kitchen. We had that piece of granite put in. But the way that things are done here is just not the same. For instance, Beth liked this particular little setup here. And now in the West, for those foreigners who are looking on and thinking about coming to live here, you can look at the way that this is set up. Now in the West, what we would do is we would take the table and we would put it where it should be, which probably should be about here. And then we'd have the electrician place the little group of lights. What they did here was, Beth told him, I want you to put these up. The electrician put them up where he thought it should be, which is far too close. Far too close to this place, and in totally the wrong place. But anyway, they've gone up and we deal with it. So refrigerator and our little water fountain there. Now you can see that there's a plug that's out there. That's because the water fountain stopped working. Now it's quite a new piece, but as with all electrical devices in the Philippines, the quality of the electrics is very low. And so every time you go to the store, they must show you that the electrical device that you're buying is actually working, because there's no taking it back. So it works when it goes out the door, and you better keep it working that way, because there's no returns on that. So we have these various little things that Beth ordered when I wasn't looking, and then they get put up, and the kids come along. And something that is about the way that kids operate here is that they will go on this, and because it swivels backwards and forwards, guess what they do? As soon as they get on, start swiveling backwards and forwards. Very, very soon, they break the thing. See, these are all fairly new, would last for years. There's a little ornament there, look. Now, I wonder why ever it should be moved and broken, and then they hurriedly put it back and pretend it never happened. So, in among the wine bottles, which are just full of water because we don't drink, this was from a friend of ours who is also a Brit, and he went back to the UK and went to Marks and Spencer's, and he brought some food. He's a chef. He also is someone who occasionally when I bump into him in the stores, I see that he hasn't been here so long, that just, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, and he is still adjusting to the particular way of life here in the Philippines. So we tried to get a big TV, but that was the only one they had. So looking out, this is supposed to be the entrance to the house, but actually it's not. They come in and they go to the double doors that we came through. This is part of our couch setup. And one of the kids jumped on it and broke it, and I thought, well, that's their fault. They did it. But when I looked, it actually had a woodworm in it. So this is our living space where we spend most of the time eating, and then very recently we've started to watch movies, because we had, and this is kind of like a comment on our way of life. I bought the VCR, I bought that probably maybe a year or even 2 years ago. We never got round to plugging it in, so it's only been done very recently. So Beth went out and bought all of these little doodads, which immediately become used for everything else. Of course, I'll leave the price on there, and that's a piece of trash that they've put in there. So we have 3 bedrooms, and this is the smallest bedroom, and thinking that would make a good place for the kids to stay, had this platform bed put in, which almost doubles the space, certainly in this half. And I made this into my little workroom, so I have various tools. Now, I could never have these things if it wasn't in a locked room, because the way that it works here in the Philippines is that things will be moved, things will be taken. I only just got this drill back after it disappeared for about a year. It's the way things are. So the only way that I know I can keep these things safe is by putting a lock on the door, and that's how it stays safe. So we live very simply, actually. Lots of things are still being done. That's the piece that wasn't put back again by the electricians. See, we're looking here, we don't have hot water, still lots of work to be done. We have a huge bin which is filled with water, or kept full of water, and same here, we wash rather than toilet paper, except if I get toilet paper I will certainly go back to my old archaic way of doing it. This is one of those buys that Beth decided on, and she thought that looked lovely. Of course, it's made of particle board, so this has all fallen apart, as you can see, and looks disgusting. So this all has to be replaced. We'll leave the mirror up there, but nothing stays the same. So that's the bathroom. Whether Beth is in here or not, yes, she is. This is our bedroom, and this is the bed that I rescued from the wreckage of the red house. You can see that I put the curtains up, and here we are. Hello, darling. So I put the curtains up and we did this, and this is what women do. They make everything into a clothesline. Okay, so we put lots of windows in here, and then we put curtains up and keep the curtains closed. This is a beautiful view, but these windows are normally covered in curtains. It just seems to be the way that it is. So that's a quick look there. So this would be what would be officially a second bedroom, and this is what we would call the master bedroom. Because we started off by staying in the smaller bedroom, it was easier to furnish and everything, and then we got this place organized, and now this is kind of like a sitting room, and if Nana comes and stays, this is where she stays. This once again is a place that I can keep locked, and we keep things in here which we prefer not to be touched. And I don't know what it is about a guitar, which for me as a musician is a special thing. People just pick them up and think that they're there for anybody to use, which for me they're not. As a pro musician, I would never dream of going up and touching someone else's instrument. But that's what happens, and eventually things get broken. So still lots and lots of work to do. This was designed to have a bathtub in there, so there would have been a tub in there. Not quite sure how Beth translated this to whoever did this particular part of the work, but we would have to have this done again if we did have a bathtub. But of course, I would not favour having a bathtub because nobody would ever use it, and they're about 12 or 15,000 pesos. So once again, I'm wary of this because it looks very nice, but underneath that plastic spray-on veneer that they've got, it is particle board, which, if you have any experience with particle board, you'll know that it only has to get wet and it soaks the wet up like a sponge. Even this is particle board, you can see. So, but my bike, which I haven't ridden for quite a time, the TV, which we've never had plugged in, there's no allowance for it here, there's no plug. Nearest outlet would be right over there. So I have no wish to plug the TV in. So I can turn the lights off. Now, we overdid the lights because we didn't know, I'm not familiar with the way that they talk about the wattage here and how powerful lights are. But these, see, we have Beth's love of a chandelier. The ordinary lights there, those are the ones I favour. And then these here. And in true Filipino style, we've got ordinary, let me see, I think that's real daylight. And then that one over there is more yellow. That's the way that things are done. I really do accept all of these things about living in the Philippines. Like we had these beautiful windows here, and and all around. And Beth, as a foreigner, what can happen is that you are excluded from lots of very important negotiations, and what can happen is that things do go amiss. Like that is going out and onto what will be the garage, so there's no point in having those windows there. And what will happen is that when the garage is done, which is another work in progress, no roof, no walls, nothing, and this window here will be taken out and a doorway will go in. So that should have been a blank wall, which would have been nice because we could have had a place to hang pictures and things. It's important when you're designing a house that you have room to show artwork. If you have nowhere to hang a picture, it gets, for me, it's a downer on the house. Now this, we had a guy come and he used the weed whacker, the grass cutter, and our new window went bust. So there's no point in having that replaced because we have so much work to be done. The thing that we did in this and the other construction was that we went overboard on the electrics, because the electrics on the little red house, some of which we had done when we extended into the kitchen, and we had a fire. So this time we told the electrician overkill, and of course we paid for it. So back to the beginning again, and just a little word about our concrete work that we had done. It's very poor, but I wanted to address some of the comments that were made about the concrete work that we had done, so I'll make another video about that. You can see that here in the Philippines, this is like a dog haven. We don't own any of these dogs except the little white Pomeranian, but dogs are something about, they're an aspect of the Philippines which is quite difficult for people in the West to get used to, because in the West they have dog catchers, and all of these dogs will be rounded up and put into a place where they would either be adopted or die. That would be the reality. So all of this has to be developed, of course, and made into usable space. So, thank you for being in this little, being with me in this little update on the house, which was requested, so I did it. So we're very lucky to be living as we do. We have no complaints, but on the things where people say, well, you should have this done and you should have that done, we're officially what in the West you would call house poor. Yes, we spend our money on the house and we do what we can. And over there, of course, people sometimes think that's a house. No, it's not. It's a 5-year, what will probably take 5 years to complete into a source of income for Beth and the family. This is something that when you have a great age difference between, mostly in the Philippines obviously, it's between the man and the wife. When you have that great difference, it's, I feel, the responsibility of the man, the husband, to make sure that if what could likely be the end of the road for him, he can leave a source of income that will continue and sustain the wife. That's something that obviously, certainly that I am concerned about. And that 5-year project, assuming I can hang on to this, this life that I have, that will provide an income and a livelihood for Beth, even though she will still continue to do the blog anyway if I were not here. So that's something that has to be attended to. So I'll say goodbye and thank you for being with us. I also like to wish you all a happy Christmas, a joyful Christmas with your family and your loved ones, and Happy New Year. Bye for now.